Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We'll give folks a couple more minutes to join us and then we will get started. Hmm. All right. I know we may have a few folks join us in the next little bit, but for the sake of time, we will go ahead and get kicked off here. Welcome everyone to our third installment of our financial aid and paying your bill Tiger Talk webinar this summer. My name is Casey Ford, and I serve as the interim director for student transitions in the Center for Student Leadership and Engagement. And so I help to craft our parent and family orientation experience. And a piece of that this summer and most summers is what we call our Tiger Talk webinar series. So understand that some of you may have joined us or plan to join us for our Ready, Set, Roar sessions here on campus. Maybe you have interacted with some of our virtual orientation content, but certainly understand that there are often more questions and a need to have some in-depth conversations about various topics, one of which is certainly paying for college. And so this is sort of our way to do that, our way to get you that information and give you some time with the experts across campus who have those answers. Few housekeeping pieces here as we get started. If you don't mind clicking the slide, Chris. Perfect. All right, so you'll notice that we are in the Zoom webinar format, pretty similar to a regular Zoom meeting, but there are a couple differences. So you'll notice that the audio and video has been turned off. And then you'll also notice in the top somewhere on your screen that this is being recorded and will be available for future use. So those things are intentional. We want to make sure that we're able to kind of give the floor, so to speak, to our panelists so that we have enough time to share all the content that we have to share with you today. But want you to know that if there are questions that come up later or you need to reference this another time, that we will save the recording of this session and share that out in a couple of ways later on. A couple more things there on the next slide. You'll also notice on your toolbar that there's a question and answer feature. We would ask that you please use that button specifically to ask questions. I already see a couple folks who have used the raise hand tool. We will not be, we don't have a way to respond to those. We don't have a way to field questions through that button on the webinar environment. So if you would direct any questions through that Q&A button, that allows all of us as panelists to see that and then answer that back to you. The chat is what we will primarily use to share out any relevant links or supporting information for what we're sharing today. So if you could please use that Q&A button, that would be great. All right, I will yield the floor to our panelists to introduce themselves.
Hey y'all, welcome. My name is Amy Burke. I am the Senior Financial Aid Counselor here in the Office of Student Financial Aid.
And good afternoon. My name is Chris. I am the Senior Student Financial Services Counselor, the representative from the billing office here today, and we'll be talking a little bit about our billing practices coming up in just a few minutes. I do want to note that Christy Chambers, our Senior Associate Director, is not with us today, though you see her picture there. Jennifer Porter from the billing office will be helping to field some of your questions in that chat as we go along this afternoon.
Thanks, Chris. And I'm Anna Lewis, and I work in the financial aid office as well, specifically more with the scholarship programs here at Clemson. And I'll be talking to you guys a little bit about financial aid after Chris is finished. So I'll hand it over to you.
All right, let's take a look at the agenda and how we're going to flow this afternoon. I will begin with a presentation for you based on what we do here in Student Financial Services, how we communicate with students. We can tell parents how they can become authorized to take part by viewing and paying the bill through their own portal. We'll talk a little bit about how tuition, fees, and payments work in general. I'll also talk to you about our payment plans and refunds, which is part of what our office does as well. Anna will then take over for student financial aid, where she'll also talk about privacy and communication and different types of financial aid that's available and what next steps you need to take and thinking ahead on down the line as you navigate the college experience from a financial standpoint. So we'll begin here with our office, Student Financial Services, and talk a little bit about what we do in this office. Student Financial Services, aka the bursar's office, aka the billing office. Our office releases your tuition bill and manages the billing and the collection and the processing of bill payment. We assist, as I mentioned, with payment plans. Of course, we're always here for your tuition and fee questions when those bills come out. Our office also handles outside and private scholarships, those scholarships that a student may be awarded from their local Rotary Club or their local church, things that are non-federal and non-state scholarships. Our office processes those. And when there's an overage on the account, a credit of some sort, we will process those refunds here in our office as well. So that's a little bit of what we do here in Student Financial Services. We'll begin with student communication with our office. As you see there, there is no paper correspondence. Everything is sent electronically to the student's Clemson email address, the @clemson.edu. So students should check that email as much as possible. I like to tell people that we don't send emails unless it's an important matter. We don't send just spam type emails or congratulations emails to an athletic team or something like that. If you get an email from Student Financial Services, it is something that needs the student and the authorized user's attention. Of course, the online resource for students is iRoar, and from the student billing tab in iRoar, the student can access bills, make payments, view account activity, enroll in payment plans, etc. Our office will issue monthly e-statements at the start of each month, and these monthly e-statements will reflect the balance on the account at the point in time when the statement was generated. It is primarily for your records. However, by logging into iRoar, a student can see the bill in real time. So if students make any changes to their course schedule, they add a course, etc., or drop one, they need to log into iRoar and check how that's affected their balance right away. Don't wait until the next statement period to do so. If you need a new statement on letterhead in between monthly statement periods, you can do this by clicking the on-demand statement button in iRoar or in the parent portal. But it's important that students, I want to add to that, it's important that students reach out to us prior to dropping a class or adding a class to ask us how it might affect their bill. A lot of times they go ahead and do that and then contact us when they see the ramifications of it, and it complicates the process at that point in time. So students, if you're listening, if you're planning to make a change after the bill comes out, contact us beforehand and say, how is this change going to impact my bill? Am I going to owe more? Am I going to owe less? And we'll be more than happy to guide you through that, because as I mentioned, it causes less headache later on. I do want you to know that information only goes to students unless the student has named you as an authorized user. So students will need to add anyone as an authorized user who is going to be responsible for making payments or getting tax information or anything concerning the student bill. So we'll talk now about the fall tuition and fees, the fall 2025 bills. It says they're available in late July. They're actually going to be posted to those iRoar accounts Monday, July 21st, Monday, July 21st, next Monday. And the fall 2025 tuition and fees are now posted on our website. So you can take a look at those, get an idea of what you're going to see on the bill prior to Monday's release. Students and authorized users will get an email notifying them when those bills are available. And again, you can expect that Monday morning, July 21st. Your bill is going to include academic charges, mandatory fees, housing, and dining. We get a lot of calls sometimes asking about the possibility of removing one of those mandatory fees. And I need to tell you that if a fee appears on your bill, then it would be mandatory based on the student criteria. So we're really not at the liberty of removing any fees that you think you might not use or something like that. All of those fees are approved by Clemson's Board of Trustees. And there is a link that you can find on our website as well to an explanation of each fee that you'll see on the bill. And that's at the SFS website. It's clemson.edu/SFS. And of course, if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to contact us at any time about any of those fees if you need to ask a question about them. The bill that you get from us will not include textbooks, will not include supplies, laptops, or personal costs. Those will all vary depending upon the needs for each student laid out in each course syllabus. So those are the responsibility of the student. We do accept all major credit and debit cards. There is a 3% non-refundable processing fee for domestic credit or debit cards and 4.25% for international cards. So e-check is definitely the preferred method to pay with through the authorized user portal or the student portal. E-check posts immediately and has no additional fees associated with it. We also accept money orders. We accept cashier's checks. We do not accept cash. Cash is the only form of method that we will not accept. A lot of folks pay with 529 plans. So if you are one of those, contact your 529 once that bill comes out. Tell them what they need to send to us. And most of the time, a lot of the time, the 529 still deal just in paper checks. They'll send us a check with the student ID on it, and ask you not to delay on that though. They can take a few days to get to us, and of course you're still responsible for the payments, even if you've sent a 529 and it's not in the office yet. And of course, if that's the situation, you would need to contact us, and we could help you maybe with an alternative method. Some 529s will now electronically submit payment directly to Clemson. You can ask yours if they will do that, and if they do, they should already have all of the information on hand to do so. You should not need to provide them with anything other than the student's name and the student's ID number. Now, if they tell you they won't send it electronically to us, most of them will still recommend that they send the funds to your checking account by direct deposit, and that would enable you to go in and make that e-check payment in the portal, thus eliminating that mail transit time. This would not have any adverse impact on your taxes or anything like that. 529 will provide you with a 1099-Q for that purpose at the end of the year, just showing what you withdrew. They really doesn't matter to them where it's direct deposited. We would like to note that we do post checks the same day that they arrive at our office in most cases. We don't have a stack of checks sitting around unposted. So if you log on in the evening, you don't see your check posted, then that will indicate that it has not been received in the mail as of that day's delivery. So e-checks are the best way to go. Since those post immediately to the account, they carry no additional charges. But if you do have them mail a 529, most of the 529 companies already have our address in their system, but maybe you're sending an outside scholarship check that can be sent to Clemson Student Financial Services, G as in George, -08 Sykes Hall, Clemson, South Carolina 29634, and we'll have that up for you a little bit later on at the end of the presentation. But do please make sure that the student's name and ID is on every check, really on every communication with us. We are getting a ton of outside scholarships mailed to us right now, so go ahead and send yours in if you've not done so already, and that way it could possibly be in there when that bill comes out already posted on the 21st. Again, that address for mailing the Student Financial Services, throw that up for you, but it is Student Financial Services, G-08 Sykes Hall, Clemson, South Carolina 29634. And if it is a scholarship check, just put care of outside scholarships on the envelope, and we will post that address again at the end. And we do not accept, as I mentioned, any cash in our office. Now, I've mentioned authorized users a couple of times, so let me go over for you how a student can add an authorized user and why it's even necessary. Think of it as HIPAA for education. FERPA is the Family Educational and Privacy Act, signed into law by President Ford. back in 1974. Those folks been around a long time, may know of it as the Buckley Amendment. But due to the guidelines set forth in that law, Student Financial Services cannot release billing and payment records such as the tuition bill or payment history or tax information. We can't release that to you unless your student has made you an authorized user. So if you call our office, we can provide some general information, but nothing specific to the student if you're not an authorized user. Students can add authorized users by logging into iRoar, clicking that student billing tab, selecting My Bill on the next screen, and this will lead them to the main billing page where authorized users can be found on the right of the page under a section titled My Profile Setup. And they would simply enter the name and email address of the user, and the user would then receive an email with login information to their own portal, what we call the parent portal. Although an authorized user does not necessarily have to be a parent, the student can authorize anyone they choose to be an authorized user, but most of the time it's going to be mom and dad. The email address would be the username for the user, and they would be given a temporary password, which they can change when they log into the system. On the next slide, by the way, I'll give you kind of a visual of where the student adds authorized users because I know it's sometimes hard to get that information down verbally. Being an authorized user will only give you billing and payment information, no grades or enrollment or other academic records. If you need other non-bill related access, then you should reach out to those respective offices, as each office handles access and FERPA regulations individually. In financial aid, Anna will later discuss how authorization takes place in their office. It is a little bit different from how you're authorized here in the billing office. Now, it is possible for a person to be an authorized user but not have access come January to the tax information. So students, if you're listening, when adding users, you need to check the box that indicates that you're okay with sharing tax information and the 1098-T form with the authorized user. So if that box is not checked, we could not provide 1098-T tax information even if you're an authorized user. Now, this is a sample bill that we did a screenshot of for the summer 2025 semester. Any pertinent information for the student in question has been whited out there, as you can see, but I just wanted to show you this, as this is the view that a student would see when they log into that billing page. On the left side, you see an announcement column that's going to have important dates, and there's our address. Checks may be billed to Sykes Hall. Some instructions you can click on for international students, and just any date or deadline is going to be found right here. Across the top purple bar, you can click to make payments, set up a payment plan. Admissions deposits can be done here as well. Refunds. There's a help button to send our office an email. In the middle section of the screen where it says student accounts, you'll see to the right of that column, there is the space for the student's ID number. That's the C followed by 8 digits. And again, if you call us, we're going to need that student's ID number. So make sure your student provides that with you if you're an authorized user. In this central section of the screen, you're going to see the balance that is currently owed on the account. Again, that's going to be in real time and may differ from the statement that you got at the beginning of the month, depending on any changes the student has made. But this is going to be the balance for you in real time, this particular student with 4,600 and something owed. And below that, you can see a button that says View Activity if the student wants to take a more itemized look at everything that makes up that total. They can click the next button to enroll in a payment plan, or the orange button simply to make a payment with credit, debit card, or electronic check. This particular student was enrolled in our summer payment plan. So if you opt for a payment plan, the payment plan information is going to be next, and it's going to tell you the installments that are due. In summer, we only have one additional installment, so that's why you only see one installment there. If this were fall with the 4 payment plan, you would likely see 3 or 4 lines, depending on where you are in the plan at that point in time. So this is what's being referred to, as I referred to a minute ago, as the bill in real time. And People oftentimes call us about fees that are being charged, wanting to know if they can get something itemized. This is exactly what we're going to refer you back to. So clicking that view activity button or the on-demand statement button is going to give you a good breakdown of charges, including the tuition and all the individual mandatory fees, any aid posted, any payments that have been made can be seen under that view activity button or the on-demand statement button. We'll talk a little bit more about the payment plan in a couple of minutes as well. But again, this is the student view. The parent portal will look different, but it's still really easy to navigate. And on the far right of the page, you'll see what I referred to a minute ago, My Profile Setup. That portion is not seen in the parent portal. This is where students go to add users, set up electronic refund, and that sort of thing. Now, we'll talk more about refunds in a moment, but just keep in mind that students are the only ones who can add an e-refund account since you're paying on their behalf, or whatever is being paid on the student's behalf. We also refund any overage on the student's behalf to the student. So they have to be the ones to set up where that refund goes. Now, there's one exception to that, and we'll discuss that in just a few moments. But as you can see under statements, this is where you can find all of your latest e-bill statements and the 1098-T statement. The blue area is the button you can click for the on-demand statement if you need a statement on letterhead in between monthly statement periods. Let's talk about the payment plan a little bit. Those are available when the bill comes out. They will be available Monday, July 21st. Students or authorized users can sign up for those plans in their respective portals. The main plan that we want to push here is the 4-payment plan. It does require auto draft authorization and a $75 non-refundable enrollment fee. And the 4 payments will be drafted the first Friday of August, September, October, and November. We do have an additional smaller payment plan that might help sometimes when you're waiting for certain aid to post. And Anna's actually going to mention that to you coming up in just a little bit. We encourage e-check, once again, not credit card for the 4-payment plan due to that 3% service charge, because that will be charged every installment. So you would be paying 3% additional if you use a credit or debit card with each of the 4 installments. Not true with e-check. You're just paying what's due in that installment with an e-check. Also, using a 529 in a payment plan is never recommended, since you would still have to have an auto draft account that could draw from, and 529s just cannot be used for that purpose. Most people sending in 529s just do the lump sum at the beginning from their 529. And lastly, let's talk a little bit about refunds. What happens when you have quite simply had too much pay to your bill, more than you owe? If you see a credit or an overage on your account, you don't have to do anything to trigger it. That's a call that we get a lot. How do I initiate my refund? Well, you don't really have to do anything to initiate the refund. If there's an overage, the system will automatically generate a refund, and those student refunds will disperse the first week of classes. We will actually do 2 refund files that week. Then we'll get back to our normal schedule of each Tuesday for issuing refunds. We prefer that each student sign up for e-refund in the area we showed you a few minutes ago, My Profile Setup, on their billing page, and that will allow us to direct deposit the refund into the student's bank account or whichever bank account they denote. All they have to do is provide the routing number and the bank account number, and we can direct deposit that. Now, if no direct deposit is on file, a paper check will be mailed in the student's name to the permanent address on file. So it's important to get the e-refund set up if you want to get the student that refund quicker, maybe to pay for something off campus or books or whatever, because it doesn't do a lot of good necessarily to have a check in the student's name sent to Connecticut when the student's here in South Carolina. So the direct deposit works better for both us and a lot of times for parents. But again, that's optional. We are not allowed to hold credits for future semesters. or hold them on accounts for any reason, they must be refunded. We get that call a lot. I've got a refund of $2,000. Can I just let it hang around? And then you take it from the spring bill when that comes out, and we're just not able to do that. A lot of situations can change between August and November when those come out. So those spring bills come out. So we do have to issue that refund, but we encourage you to sign up for direct deposit, and students can actually do that now. Even before the bills are out, they can add an e-refund account in there. Now, again, students are the only ones who can sign up for e-refund, with one exception, and it can be tricky. There is a new option now for direct deposit for authorized users, but only if the refund is due to an overage created by the Parent Plus loan. So if you're not using that loan, there would not be an option for the authorized user to set up an e-refund. But if you are using that Parent Plus loan, you have an overage created by that loan, then you as an authorized user can set up an e-refund, because the Parent Plus money has to go back to the borrower of the loan. So even if the student has e-refund set up, if the overage is due to the Parent Plus loan, it's going to either go to the authorized user's direct deposit or a paper check to the authorized user, considering the authorized user is the actual borrower of the loan. So you must be the borrower of the loan and your name on the loan application to receive the direct deposit. And your authorized user data, like your name, your address, your email, must match exactly what's on the Parent Plus application. Otherwise, the system will reject the direct deposit and send you a paper check to the address on the Parent Plus application if anything does not match. We have had instances where mother set up the e-refund, but dad was the one who signed the loan. That's not going to work. The system's going to reject that because they do not match. And it will also reject the refund if the phone numbers or the email addresses do not match what's on the application. So make sure everything is in order if you're using the Parent Plus loan and you want to set up the e-refund for it as an authorized user. That's all we have from the student billing side. Of course, we'll be around for your questions and we'll answer all of those coming up at the end. Anna is going to take over and tell you a little bit about how maybe you can get some money to help pay for these bills.
I will try, Chris. Thank you very, very much. So before I get started and dive into financial aid, I do want to mention the fact that I do see one hand raised, but we cannot call on people in this type of Zoom setup. So if you do happen to have a question, make sure that you direct that to the Q&A, and we'll either answer that live at the end of the session, or somebody who's helping field those questions can answer it for you right now. I don't want you to be waiting around for us to call on you. Okay, so I work again in financial aid. My name is Anna Lewis, as you see on your Zoom screen, and we are going to talk about a number of things. So Chris, you want to move on? Thank you. So what we do a lot of things in our office. So we handle all federal, state, university, and some private aid. I want to put a caveat on that, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but we will discuss in this presentation scholarships, grants, loans, work study, along with residency classification, which might be our most niche topic, but the one that generates the most questions and confusion by people. But we do handle all of these things within our office and try to process them as quickly as possible. But before we get started talking about specific types of aid, we will communicate how we do our communication within our office. So like Chris was talking about the billing office, you have to sign up as an authorized user in order for you yourself to get any notifications from Student Financial Services. We do not have that type of authorized user set up within our office, so we will communicate always directly with students via their Clemson email address. So if they have not been checking their email, please make sure that they log in, take a look, see if we've asked them to do anything for their aid to get processed. So we do only communicate with students via their Clemson email and through their iRoar portal. So hopefully this is not a new word for you guys and you are familiar with what iRoar is, but your students should have access to their student financial aid in iRoar. They can log in, they can click on their student financial aid tab, click over to their green link in the My Financial Aid section, and then go over to awards or offers within iRoar to see what what their financial aid package looks like. That should be available. I hope that everybody has already tried to look and see if they have any aid out there. If not, run and do that. But for our privacy purposes, in order to comply with the FERPA law, we require students to complete what we call a FERPA form. This is available in their iRoar account, and I will say this a million zillion times, and my apologies in advance. But this FERPA form will be located in their iRoar account in financial aid section under the unsatisfied requirements. In order for us to talk to you about your student's specific aid, so if you call in with a question about, well, where is their life scholarship? We're transferring from TCTC. Why isn't it posted? I can't tell you anything unless your student has completed a FERPA form and has indicated to me that it is okay for me to chat with you, their parent, guardian, spouse, about their aid. So they will put your name and then the last four of your social for me to verify your identity. So that way, when you call in and have questions specifically relating to their aid, I can answer them. Now, if you call our office and they don't have a FERPA form on file, but you just have general questions about how, Parent Plus loans work or when that aid will show up on your bill, for example, we can answer general questions and we are happy to do so. But if it's anything specific to your student, we cannot answer that without the FERPA form. So please make sure that they go in and do that. And it's not to be punitive. It is just so that we do not get dinged on a federal audit. Okay. So the first type of aid that we will discuss will be scholarships. So for South Carolina residents, that is our in-state students, there are 3 different types of state scholarships available for South Carolina residents. The Palmetto Fellow Scholarship, which is awarded to students right after they graduate from high school. Their guidance counselor has to apply for Palmetto Fellows through the South Carolina Commission on Higher Education. That's what CHE stands for in that second bullet point. We do not award Palmetto Fellows if we think a student is smart enough. They have to actually get approved by the state. And then the state notifies us of all of those Palmetto Fellows eligible students, and that is when we post those scholarships. So if you know that you're a Palmetto Fellow student, but you do not see that award on your account, it is either because CAG has not updated their portal to show that you are eligible, you haven't been approved yet, or there's a mismatch with your name and it might be misspelled either in our system or their system. So if you've been approved as a Palmetto Fellow for weeks and weeks and weeks, don't know where it is, please email me. Contact information will be available at the end of the presentation, but that should be posted if you have been approved. For transfer Palmetto Fellow students, it is a little bit different. So if you qualified for Palmetto Fellows out of high school and you are transferring either from an out-of-state school or an in-state school, you have to submit a transfer form to the state. So the South Carolina Commission on Higher Education takes in transfer forms or reapplication forms for those students who take a gap year, and they will let me know that they have approved a transfer to Clemson. Outside of that, I can't award you a Palmetto Fellow scholarship if you're a transfer student until the state tells me to. Now, for our Life and Hope students, we determine eligibility for the Life Scholarship and for the Hope Scholarship. So we will base your eligibility for those 2 state scholarships on the high school criteria that we have on your final transcript, maybe via ranking reports if you qualify for the Life Scholarship based on your final class rank, test scores, etc. So we have already posted all of the state awards for our incoming freshman students. If you are a transfer student and you think you should have the Life Scholarship or Palmetto Fellows, the Life may not be on there yet because we have not reviewed all of your college transcripts. So every transfer student has to be reviewed for Life eligibility, and a transfer admissions counselor will review all of your credits earned, your GPAs across the board, and post that for me to then award the Life Scholarship. So it could just be a timing thing. You might just have to wait a little bit for that to post. And then for the Hope students, if you are a freshman, that will be awarded. If you qualified for Hope as a freshman and assume that you should have it again as a transfer student, Hope is only available to freshman students. It does not renew for a second, third, fourth year. You would have to meet Life eligibility requirements and get it for your second year. And then all university scholarships, so any recruiting scholarships that we may hand out as Clemson University, those should all be posted already as well. So if you have the question, well, did I qualify for a Clemson scholarship? Well, if you did, it should be in your iRoar portal. So log in and take a look. You would have been notified if you qualified for one of these, most likely in your admissions letter. So when you were accepted to Clemson, you should have been told, and you're also going to receive a merit scholarship, and congratulations and all of those things. So you would have been notified of that prior to us even posting your awards. But yes, all of our university scholarships have been handed out to students. If you're a transfer student, unfortunately, we don't typically have any scholarship funding that is earmarked for our transfer students. Usually it all goes to our incoming freshman class. We do get that question a lot, but yes, all of our university scholarships should be posted online if you were eligible. Chris mentioned prior to that if you are receiving an outside scholarship, those do get posted by the Student Financial Services Office. There are a couple of larger outside scholarships that we work with and we'll post on our end. Like we got one of our Q&As was about the National Merit Scholarship. So while that's not technically a Clemson scholarship and we get those notifications from an outside source, we do handle those in our office and we do post those, but those don't usually get here until later this month, sometimes early August if there's any kind of a delay. But we will post those as soon as we can. And yes, if you're getting any of these outside scholarships and they're coming in sort of late, we will get your bill updated with those as soon as we are able to. And so that will reflect on your balance, hopefully before bills are due mid-August. All right. Now we're going to talk about grants. So how does a student qualify for a grant? Well, a grant is a need-based free award. And when I say free, it means that you don't have to pay it back like a loan. The only way that a student can qualify for a grant is if you complete a FAFSA, which is the free application of federal student aid. If you have not done a FAFSA yet, you're still able to do so. It is not too late. But my goodness, please go and do it right after this session. Run and complete a FAFSA. Pretty simple to do now. And that is how we can determine whether or not you have enough, quote, financial need to receive a grant. And there are 3 different types of grants that we award. There's a federal grant, there's a state need-based grant, the South Carolina need-based grant, and the university grants. Now, if you've not completed a FAFSA and you do so today, you may be eligible for a federal grant, but it is too late to qualify for a university grant or a South Carolina need-based grant just based off of timing, because all of those funds have been spent on the students who completed the FAFSA early enough to qualify for one of these. Now you are able to do a FAFSA every year. If you qualified for a grant this year, there is a good chance that you will receive a similar grant for the next year, but it is all based on the income reported to the federal government. So what happens is when you complete a FAFSA, we get a number that is called the Student Aid Index, and your quote neediness is based off of this SAI number that we get from the federal government. Now, if you have an SAI that is close to the border of qualifying for a federal Pell Grant or an SEOG, and you want to appeal this, say you've lost your job, both parents have lost their jobs, and there's a lot more need than anticipated or based on the income that was reported to the FAFSA for this year, you can submit an appeal to our office. We will not be reviewing those. We've got a stack of them already to review, but if you do have any hardship that we will not be aware of based on the information provided to the FAFSA, you can obviously reach out and we will direct you as to whether or not you should file what is called a professional judgment or appeal your neediness to qualify for one of these grants. All right. Now we will discuss loans. So there are many different types of loans, but the main loans that we see are the federal student loans. So if a student completes a FAFSA, they are automatically going to qualify for at least $5,500 in a federal student loan. That should be posted in your IROR account. If you've done the FAFSA, you should see a total of at least $5,500 in federal student loans offered to your student. Now, these loans are only in the student's name, and the parent does not have to sign off on them. Students will be the sole party responsible for paying these back after graduation. There are 2 different types of federal student loans. So there is the unsubsidized loan. These accrue interest as soon as you take them out. The interest rate as posted here is 6.39% this year. There's also a subsidized loan, which does not accrue interest until after graduation. Now, your ability to qualify for a subsidized loan falls back on the SAI number that we get from the FAFSA, from the form that you complete for these loans. So if you only see an unsubsidized loan, then that means that you do not have enough financial need to qualify for one that is subsidized. There's also a Parent Plus loan. So if you log into your iRoar account and you see that, your student was offered $5,500, you might have the life scholarship, but you have a little bit of room to fill that you can't pay for, and you need some extra cushion or additional funding to cover tuition and other expenses, then you may qualify for a Parent Plus loan. You can only apply for a Parent Plus loan if you have completed a FAFSA for the year. So make sure that you've done that. After you have completed the FAFSA, if you decide that you want to take out a Parent Plus loan, please note that interest rate is 8.94% this year, but you can complete an application through the studentaid.gov website, which is the same one that you would have completed the FAFSA on. The priority deadline for this was June 30th, which I know is in the past. And so I hope that nobody is panicking. There is still time to do this. So please don't think that, oh gosh, now what I'm gonna have to go get a private loan, et cetera, et cetera. That's not the case. You can still apply for one of these, the Parent Plus loan or the private loan. It's just that we cannot guarantee that it will be posted in time before the bills are due. Now, we have already started posting some of these, or we'll start posting these late July if you've already been approved for one. So if you've been approved for one but don't see it yet on the iRoar account, don't panic. You've been approved. We will get it posted as soon as we can. If you apply for one now or later, we will process these, as we receive them. Again, there's no guarantee that they will be here before the bills are due. And so luckily for your sake, Chris in his office will offer a different type of payment plan called the 2-payment plan that you can sign up for, which would delay your first payment due past the August deadline into mid-semester if you're anticipating on getting a loan late. So don't panic. You have a couple of options still now to apply for one of these loans and still not be penalized or not have your student penalized or their classes dropped or late fees, et cetera. That 2-payment plan does come with an additional fee of $150 one time. So it is a little bit more expensive to do that type of payment plan. So if you don't have to do that, don't do that. But that's just there for those folks who may apply for one of these private loans or Parent Plus loans a little bit late and need to get that in. I will mention that if you have decent credit and you know that you need an educational loan, it might behoove you to look at other private loans because you might get a better interest rate. That 8.94% stings a little bit, but it will be based on your credit worthiness. And students who apply for a private loan will apply in their name, but they will need a credit worthy cosigner because they just don't have any credit established, presumably. All right. So now we're going to talk about how we apply aid. So scholarships, grants, and direct loans will all be posted for the year in your iRoar account. Please note that that is an annual amount that you are seeing, and half will go to the fall and half will go to the spring. So if you are a life scholarship recipient, for example, that's a $5,000 a year award, $2,500 will go to the fall, and then $2,500 will go to the spring. For Parent Plus loans and private loans, typically, when you apply for the whole year, which makes it easier on you, makes it easier on us, and then half will go to the fall and half will go to the spring. Sometimes parents are a little bit confused by that, and they're assuming that when they submit that application, it is only for the fall, and so they only do like a $10,000 private loan, thinking, oh, well, that'll be enough for the fall semester, but then we divvy it up into two. So just make sure that when you apply, you know the terms in which you're applying. So you can apply for a semester-only loan. So you can submit a Parent Plus loan application for the fall only, but please note that if you need another one for the spring, you're going to have to turn right back around and do another application for the spring. Private outside scholarships, when we get those checks, typically we divvy those award amounts up from between the fall and the spring. So if you get a $1,000 South Carolina State Fair scholarship, $500 will go in the fall, $500 will go in the spring, unless that outside scholarship tells us otherwise. So if they're telling us to award it all in the fall, then we will do whatever they tell us to. But typically it does divvy up. Work study, and this is always, it brings up a lot of questions if you are offered work study, does not apply directly to the student's bill. That gets applied as a paycheck to a student if they accept work study, then apply for a work study position on campus, and then they actually start working. Then they get paid to do their job, but it does not apply directly to the bill. So if you see a $3,500 or however much work study offer on your iRoar account, do not anticipate that to be, debited to the bill. All right. Now we will talk about work study. So if you wanted your student to qualify for work study and they did not, you may still be able to get it. It could be that when they completed the FAFSA, they did not opt in for work study, because you do have to say that you're interested in it. So it could be something like that. They could email us and we could take a look and we could, opt them in and offer it to them. But you also need to have, at least a 10,000 or less SAI to qualify for a work study position. Now, why is work study different than a regular student job? So work study, the federal government subsidizes a portion of a student's paycheck. That means that work study students are in very high demand because they are, for a lack of a better phrase, cheap labor for us, right? Because the federal government is paying a part of that student's pay, so that department doesn't have to come out of pocket for their entire paycheck. So if you want a work study job and your SAI is around that 10,000 number, but you don't see it, please email us and reach out, and we're happy to look at it and maybe post it for you if we still have enough work study available. Otherwise, if you were not offered it, but you are interested in working on campus as a student, you can certainly apply to other on-campus jobs as a student worker. You just wouldn't go through the work study process. So you'd have to get hired on as a part-time student employee. That department would have to pay your entire paycheck, et cetera. But you are not, all hope is not lost. You can go through the Career Center and apply as a student worker. That is fine. Please feel free. I was a student worker my entire college career. Did not have work study. Okay, go ahead, Chris. All right, so we also house the residency office in financial aid, which is a little strange, but the residency director does work here. And we determine whether or not a student should qualify for South Carolina residency based on a number of things. So if you apply to come to Clemson and there is a piece of information in your application that makes us go, I don't know that they should qualify for in-state tuition because their parent also lives in New York. So they're going to have to go through the residency process. So you might have your residency being questioned. And in that case, you need to submit all of your residency paperwork so we can verify that you do indeed qualify for in-state tuition. And we should not charge you as an out-of-state student. Please make sure that you get all of your paperwork to us as soon as possible. We do have about a 5 to 6 week return rate on that. So it does take some time for us to get everything in, make sure that we get everything in, review it all, and get back to you, or ask for supplemental documentation. If you are accepted to Clemson as an out-of-state student and you know that you are an out-of-state student, please always presume that you will continue to be billed as an out-of-state student and your residency will not change just because you as a student live in South Carolina for a year or more. All students live in South Carolina for a year or more if they come to Clemson, because hey, we're here in South Carolina. That doesn't mean that your residency changes to South Carolina, though. So a lot of people have that impression that their residency will eventually change, but it does not. Now, if you, the parents, are watching this and you plan to relocate to South Carolina, then by all means, make sure that you cross all of your T's, dot all of your I's, get your licenses, change over your vehicles, get your house in South Carolina as your primary residence, and you're paying, that primary 4% residence tax in South Carolina. And then you can change your student's residency to in-state, but that's usually only if parents are relocating. It's very difficult for a student to establish residency on their own. Now, for active military members who are stationed in South Carolina or elsewhere, and or veterans and their dependents, if they're using VA benefits, or if they are stationed in South Carolina or have a home of record that is South Carolina and a state of legal residence that is South Carolina, then you typically get billed as in-state. So that is very different than, typical civilian. So military members and veterans are treated slightly different. If you are getting those VA benefits, you should qualify for an out-of-state tuition waiver. And that usually happens automatically. If you're using VA benefits, chapters 30, 31, 33, 35, then you should automatically receive an out-of-state waiver on your bill that I process. Now, if you are active duty stationed in South Carolina, there is an application process for that. It's an easy one and a quick approval usually. So, all right. So the next steps, again, and I've said this before, but you need to log into your iRoar account to see what your aid is and also what your next steps are. So you might have documents that you need to submit to us, like, hey, nudge your high school guidance counselor to submit your final transcript, or we might need a verification form for your FAFSA. So there might be additional requirements waiting for you and your student to complete. Make sure that when the bills go live next week that you are monitoring them. So if you're anticipating getting outside scholarships and you thought that they had already arrived here and they're not, you will be able to monitor this by looking at your bill to see if your balance changes. Also, make sure that your student is enrolled full time. So these scholarships and various awards will only pay out if a student is in 12 hours or more. If you're an incoming freshman or a transfer student, my assumption is you're going to meet with an orientation advisor or an academic advisor and get your schedule ironed out before you start. So you should have 12 hours at least before you start for the fall term. But just note, in years going forward, when you're able to set up your classes yourself, that you need to be in 12 hours for your aid to pay out. I will also note that for federal aid, rules are different, and you need to be in courses that count towards your major if you're a federal Pell Grant eligible to have your full Pell Grant payout. So make sure that you are taking classes that are major specific for the Pell Grant and or student loans as well. If you have not yet applied for an additional loan through the Parent Plus loan or a private lender, and you know you're going to need additional loan money, please do that as soon as possible. Again, we will process those as we receive them as quickly as we can, but at this point, it is not guaranteed that they will be here before the bills are due. So you'll need to do that ASAP and then potentially monitor the bill, monitor when that loan comes in, but you might potentially need to sign up for a 2-payment plan. For students who wish to use their federal student loans, you are required to do 2 other things through the FAFSA portal. So through your studentaid.gov login, you have to do the entrance loan counseling, and you also must sign a loan agreement or the master promissory note. If you do not do those 2 things, your loan will not pay out. You also have to accept them in your iRoar account. You have to also accept your state scholarships as well. So make sure that you are looking at all of that information there and doing the next steps that you need to do. If you've already done the loan counseling and NPN and you know that you've done that, but you're not seeing that satisfied yet in iRoar, it could just be that we haven't pulled it in yet. So don't panic. We will get to it as soon as we can. I think that is everything on the next steps. Now, thinking ahead, again, keep monitoring your bill. Also, make sure that if you are a scholarship recipient, or even a South Carolina need-based grant recipient, because there are requirements for that one as well, know what your requirements are to renew for next year. Make sure that you're planning ahead your course schedule, that you are taking enough hours, that the classes that you're taking, you are predictably going to do okay to have a GPA that's high enough to renew your scholarship. So make sure that you understand what those requirements are going into the next year. Also, you can apply or submit a FAFSA for the next year starting this fall. And so if you fail to meet the deadline for the FAFSA for this year for prioritizing your grant money and wish to do so next year, make sure that you do it as soon as it opens in fall of 2025. Continuing student deadline for the FAFSA is April 1 of 2026, but in case you forget that, do it earlier rather than later. I think that that's all that I will talk about, and we will open it up for questions since there are about 9 I see, I'm guessing, that we're going to answer live.
I do. And I
Yeah.
have groups, I've put all of them as live, that we were going to answer these live because they're all somewhat related.
Okay.
So most importantly, it's there's some overlap between transfer scholarship. So lots of folks want to know, I know you addressed that transfer students are not
Yeah.
eligible for scholarship funding when they come. Lots of questions about after
Yeah.
first semester.
Sure. Yeah, we get this question a lot. Can I qualify for scholarships after my first semester, first year here, et cetera, et cetera? And the answer is sometimes. So we do have endowments that are earmarked for continuing students. So those students with an established Clemson GPA, who are returning for sophomore, junior, senior year, whatever. Um, and we review those students automatically for those awards. So it just depends. A lot of these are major specific, and it just depends on the donor and who they wanted to give money to. And so it's hard to predict those kind of things. The answer is, again, maybe it will be based on how your student is performing. So obviously, these types of scholarships are super competitive, and just not always available to every student, but maybe.
Love it. No, it totally does. And then I have another one that's sort of a follow-up. This is more scholarships as related to residency. So
Yeah.
we have the first one is, does Clemson offer scholarships specifically for out-of-state student? And then the other one was similarly, are merit awards based on residency status?
Yes. So the award amounts are based on residency status. So yes, we do offer scholarships to out-of-state students who are incoming freshmen. The requirements for those merit-based scholarships are really high. Clemson seems to attract the best and brightest across the country. I mean, we just get applications every year with the median SAT score, really high. And so we don't have enough money to go around to every student, unfortunately. And so to qualify for a merit-based recruiting scholarship as an out-of-state student, you have to be in the top, 10 to 2% of your class, depending on whether or not you submitted test scores. And your test scores have to be quite high. I think 1400 was the cutoff for SAT. So yes, we do. The amounts are based on whether or not you're an out-of-state student or an in-state student. So we offer merit recruiting scholarships for both. We award those depending on different parameters. But yes, if you qualified for one of those, you would have been notified at the time of admission that you were receiving a merit-based offer.
Okay, I'm going to keep you talking for a minute.
All right.
Okay, so both of these are related to state scholarship funding. One parent their student has been, their residency is in question, and she wants to know if it'll affect her life scholarship. She's a bridge student, so transferring in.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't. It shouldn't. So if you were in fact a resident of South Carolina at the time that your student graduated from high school, and you can prove that to our residency director, and your student met the renewal requirements for the life scholarship, then once your residency is approved and everything is good, we will review you for life eligibility and then award it. It just might be a little bit later. Did that answer the question? Now, if the residency director has reason to believe that you weren't a South Carolina resident at the time of high school graduation, then we wouldn't be able to award you a state scholarship.
Perfect. And for Palmetto, for the enhancement,
Yes.
can you talk a little bit more about that? Is the second year
Yeah.
determined by credit hours?
No. So you are not eligible to receive an enhancement, either the life enhancement or the Palmetto Fellow enhancement, until your second year of college. So even if you are really, really smart and have taken a ton of dual enrollment in high school and you have over 60 hours, you will have to wait until your second year of college to qualify for the enhancement.
Love it. Okay. Okay, Chris, you're up. When is the fall bill, just to re-go, I think this person may have attended late, but just to do a recap in case anybody else also came late.
Well,
When
I'm
is
not
the
sure they
fall?
came late. I noticed it dawned on me as I was watching Anna that I never gave the tuition due date. So that is
Oh,
my fault.
hey, Chris, when's the fall bill due?
Fall bill is due August 14th. So that means enrollment in the payment plan by August 14th or pay the bill in full by August 14th. Um, and just to kind of uh, piggyback on that a little bit because I saw a similar question to it about the four payment plan and if that first Friday includes the first Friday in August. Yes, it does. August 1st will be the first draft of the four payment plan for those enrolled in the four payment plan at that point in time. Those draft dates are set for every student. They're the same first Friday of August, September, October, and November. So I know some people get confused. Bill's not due till August 14th, but you're going to do the first draft on August 1st. That's correct. And if you sign up for the payment plan after August 1st, then it's going to take the 25% at the time you sign up, and then it'll get you on schedule for the remaining 3 installments.
Thank you, friend. All right, Anna, back to you. High school transcript is showing as being requested. Can you talk a little bit more about what that timeline looks like?
Yeah, so when you request your high school transcript to be sent to us via parchment, then it is a manual process. So an admissions counselor has to receive it, has to enter that information into our system for us to note that it has been received and it is marked as final transcript. And then there's a process that runs that updates it in our system as completed. If you know that your counselor has submitted that a while ago and it still isn't updated on our end, I can nudge that person who helps review those for you. So do email me or email financial aid and I'll get a move on.
Love this. All right, I had to turn my camera on for this one because it's a big question.
Okay.
Somebody asked about, and we get some iteration of this question every year, and it's more personal guidance or our impressions rather than a policy. But in what cases would you recommend borrowing money for tuition if there's enough cash available in the 529?
Oh,
So, I mean, in my opinion, I do a lot of the federal aid side of it. There's two equally valid sides to this coin. I would say one, how much interest do you want to pay, right? That is undesirable. We don't want to pay interest. That being said, if it is a matter of borrowing us having your student accept the subsidized loan, which is not accumulating any interest, and that helps, but that also pushes your 529 funds an extra year or 2 years to grow. There's some benefit to be had there, but it is very much a individualized equation based on what your student is being offered. I would say that if I have a 10-year-old, but when he goes to college, if he has an unsubsidized loan being offered to him and I have the opportunity to push the 529 growth for another year to whatever, I might do that because I know that that interest rate isn't, and then I can pay off the interest later when they graduate. But generally speaking, if you have enough money to pay out of pocket and not borrow and take on loan debt, I would say please don't borrow and take on loan debt. That's again, personal question,
yeah.
or like personal opinion, I guess. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily a hard
I
and
have a question maybe, yeah, to piggyback on that, Amy, because this was asked earlier on and I took the question and maybe shouldn't have in the Q&A, but maybe Chris will know a little bit more about this since it does have to do with 529 accounts. A parent asked about they had set up a Roth account for their child under the impression that they could use the Roth funds as if they were educational funds, like a 529 without any tax penalties. Are you aware of anything like this, Chris?
I believe there would be some tax penalties, but that's
Yeah.
the extent of my knowledge to it. I
Okay.
don't know much beyond that.
Yeah. Okay. I knew that there was a new law that allowed you to roll over 529 funds that were like 15 years old up to a certain amount into a Roth account if you weren't going to use it for educational funds. But I didn't know of anything about a Roth, but I don't.
because Roth specifically
Right.
are post-tax dollars, but
Yeah.
529s are pre-tax dollars. So yeah, there's again, I don't know what that equation
Well, I don't, is 529 a pre-tax?
is, isn't it?
No, not
No,
mine.
I mean, I donate to one every month.
Not, it doesn't come out of my paycheck.
No,
You find one that is.
it does come out of my paycheck.
Doesn't it?
No, I get a tax rebate for it on my state return.
Yes, that happens. Anyways, digress.
We are not tax experts in
No,
so
God,
many ways, but
I
like,
eventually said to talk to your financial advisor. I don't know.
yeah, 100%.
Okay. What about the forgivable loans if studying to be a teacher? Are those too good to be true? Amy?
Yeah, I got this one. Okay. So there are okay. I'm going to say all this with a pretty significant asterisk next to it.
Mhm.
As of today, on July 16th, 2025, there are several federally available forgiveness programs in even some state level forgiveness programs for educators with student loan debt.
Mhm.
as I said, like I said, a lot of this comes from our experience. I am in the federal public service loan forgiveness program myself for my own student loans. That is a 10-year repayment. I have to make payments on time for 10 years, 120 payments. If at the end of that, I have also simultaneously worked in public service during those same 10 years, the rest of my loan debt is forgiven tax-free. Again, that's as of today, this very minute. There is legislation with every administration that changes or updates, and we don't know what that will look like moving forward. There are educate specifically related to P12 educators. Some of those I think are usually like 5 years, but it's very specific as related to both geographic location, so high need geographically, but then there could also be a subsidy for bonus forgiveness if you are teaching in both a high need geographic area and also a high need subject matter area. So if you are a special ed teacher in a high need district, right, there's a compounding of that forgiveness sometimes, but there is a limit to that. They're not too good to be true. They do exist. And yes, they do exist. Also, there's something called the Federal Teach Grant, which we don't really talk about that much because as freshmen, you're not really eligible to do that. And that is not that you're not eligible, but you come in as a freshman and think you want to be an English teacher or what, insert your teacher here. By junior year, you've changed majors, perhaps. The reason why we make sure that we encourage students to wait until their junior or senior year is they have really established they know that they want to be a P12 educator, because what starts as a grant, if you do not fulfill the teaching obligations, it reverts to a loan and the interest goes back to the day it was first borrowed. This is why we try to protect students in those cases. So there are a couple things related to education, forgiveness and more leeway with funding that do exist. They are not too good to be true. I hope
Yeah,
that
and
helps. That was a lot.
I also responded directly to him. But if you're a South Carolina resident who's state scholarship eligible and an education major,
Oh yeah.
there's now a new education enhancement for those students available as well that is $2,500 per year starting sophomore year. It does convert to a loan though if you don't teach in South Carolina for every year in which you receive it. But otherwise, it's a scholarship if you plan on teaching in South Carolina. Okay.
All right, perfect. Is it correct? Is it a correct statement that you have to pay $4,000 in post-tax money to claim your child on taxes?
I don't know what that means.
I have no idea what that
I've
means.
never heard such either.
Yeah, I recommend that you talk to your tax preparer or income expert. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know
Not
what that
sure.
one means.
Did TCTC transfers qualify for the same level of aid received for that program? I'm assuming Tim is referring to the aid that he received maybe in Tri-County, and do they qualify for the same level of aid received at Tri-County? Is that the question?
I think you're reading that the same way, yes.
And it depends, Tim, because this is a new year, so you would have a new FAFSA. And maybe your student lost their life scholarship eligibility. Maybe you did the FAFSA too late to qualify for the need-based grant. We ran out of funds. It just depends. We also don't have LTAP here, which is lottery tuition assistance. So not sure, but maybe email us
Right.
if you have
It
questions
depends.
specifically about that. I don't know.
Yep. No, that's exactly how I'd answer it. It really just depends on,
Yeah,
because last year to this year could be wildly different situations for the
right,
student based on a number of factors.
right.
Um, my son is a bridge student. His South Carolina grant isn't showing up. Looks like Elizabeth popped us an answer. Thank you, E.
Yep.
Our fearless leader is here helping us answer questions.
Yeah. Is there appeal process link online, Amy, for I'm assuming the FAFSA? If they want to appeal their
Yes and no. So we do have a general need-based appeal link on our website, but that is not the full federally guided appeal. That is basically like an initial, you're going to pop in some information and maybe include why we should consider, what your circumstances are. From there, we're going to read through that and then help better guide you to determine if the full federally guided appeals process is going to be something that will be successful for your student. If it's not, or what have you. So yes, on our website, I can hold on. I have 3 monitors going, so I'm not making eye contact, but I will go find our that link and I can pop it into the chat for people.
Great.
SFA, but yes, there is.
Is there a printable file for this presentation? We do have flyers, right, on our website that you can print.
Yeah, we do not have the slides uploaded.
We don't have the slides. Now you can, there will be a recording of this presented or posted at some point in the future of this presentation, maybe not the specific one, but one of these. And if you need a slide printed, or take a screenshot now if you need our contact information.
And I'm putting that link. Oh, I don't have that capability.
To chat to everyone?
No, I only have host and panelist. Casey, could you put this in the chat for everybody, please?
Okay.
And then there's that. We already talked about that.
Mhm.
My
I-
daughter was supposed to receive a scholarship package by March of 2025.
Should be there. If you don't see it, email us.
Yes. All right. I think that is
I
about
think
it.
that was it. Wow. Is this a record? 3
I
o'clock.
think it might be. Oh, and hold on. Last minute. My son was an in-state student last year and bridged over this fall. Will his life scholarship carry over?
Did he meet the renewal requirements, Carrie? If he did, then it should. But it might not be there yet because we're still processing his transcripts. So maybe. If he earned 30 hours and has a 3.0 life GPA. Is there any way to save all the chat links? You can copy paste, I think, John, into a Word document or a note, maybe?
Hold on. Yes. And Casey owns this link, this recording, so she might be able to help us better answer that.
Are they able to copy paste links, Casey, from the chat? They should be
Or
able to, right?
download the
They
chat.
can, and I also believe we have that ability, so we can, if it would be helpful when we share out this recording, we can send that transcript of all of those as well.
That'd be helpful.
Great.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karina keeps raising her hand. If you want to if you want to type a question out, Karina, we're happy to answer it. Oh, we've already done that one. All right.
All right.
Very good.
Perfect. Thank y'all for coming so much. We enjoyed you this afternoon, I guess. It's only 3:20.
You've lost a lot.
I really have.
You're dwindling. Okay.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. Go
Thank
Tigers.
you.
Thank you.